Hello guys and welcome back. Today we will cover the single dimensional arrays. We will talk about a null value, then we will see the array basics, and also we will learn how to declare and create an arrays, then the default values when we create an array, and we will learn how to access an array elements, and how to initialize an array. And the last we will see how to print an arrays. Okay, what is the null? The null value of the value of an object that doesn't contain a reference. It means that the variable will has the reference to nothing. Let's see this in example. For example, the data type string. As you know, the string is the object, and it has the variable text. At this point, the text will be the null value. So it means that it will have the reference to the nothing. Then when we assign to the text the word SDU, and then the variable text will have an address to the word SDU. So the variable text will contain just a reference to the string to the word SDU. So let's talk about array basics. First, the array, it is the collection of the variables with the same data type. So this is the simplest definition of the arrays. So an array in Java is an object. Then the array variable reference a group of data, not just one data. It will reference to the group of data. Then the size of an array is fixed. Let's suppose that we have the array variable numbers, and it has the reference to the single dimensional array. This is the array with the 5 elements, and we cannot change the size of this array because we cannot change the size of this array because the size of an array is fixed. So and it is important to notice that every element are located after each other. For example, this element, it is the first element, and the index of this element is 0. After that, immediately comes the second element, 4, and the index of it is 1, and it goes up to the last element. This is the fifth element, and the index will be the 4th here. Okay, then let's see how to declare and create an array. This is how we declare an array. First, you should write the data type that you want, which you want. For example, string, maybe integer or double, and after that followed by brackets. It means that you say to the computer that you want to create a group of this group of elements of this data type. After that comes the variable name. In this situation, it is the array name. And at this point, array name will contain null. After that, we assign to this array name with the k point new, and write here the data type. It should be same as this data type, and give here the size of an array. So in this statement, array name has the reference to has the address of the 5 elements of type data type. Of course, we can write it one line. First, we should write data type and followed by brackets and the name of variable, and then assign with the new data type and with the size of an array. Let's see it in example. For example, here integer array with the name numbers, and it will here we assign 10 elements of integer. Okay, then let's see what will be the default values of the created arrays. When array created, its elements are assigned to the following default values. First is the 0 for numeric primitive data type, for example, like integer, double, or long, or maybe float. And then this one is for character data type, default value. Then the false for the Boolean arrays, and the null for the objects like string. Okay, and here we comes to the important part of an array, access array elements. To access array elements, we use the brackets and indices. Here we have an array of numbers with the 5 elements, and by default they will be all zeros. I want to take a first element and change its value. To do that, I will use brackets and indices like this. First, I write the variable name, numbers, and open the bracket, and then I will here write the index of the first element. The index of the first element is 0, and close the brackets, and assign the value 5. So here our array will be like this. First element 5 and the others will be 0. And then I want to for example change the third element, and the index of it will be 2, and assign it here 9, and the new value or new elements of an array will be like this. Then the last element, the last index will be equals to the size of an array minus 1. So it here is the 4. So this is how we access to the arrays. And assign new values. So then let's see how to initialize an array. Here we have in this statement we initialized the double array. Here first we should write data type, then the brackets, then the variable name, and then after the assigning we assign it to the curly braces, and between the curly braces we will have an elements. This is how we initialize an array. This is the same as the following statements. Look, we know that we can create a variable with default values, zeros, yeah. So and give to every element the another value like this by the accessing to the every element. First equals to 5.4, then 3.5, and so on. These two part of codes, they are the same. Yeah, they give the same result. So you can write it like this. Also, you can initialize it like in the first line. Then you may want to do like this. First, declare and create array, and then initialize it. This one will give an error. So if you want to initialize an array, you should write it like this in the first line. So the last one is the printing arrays. Let's see also an example. First, we have an integer with the 5 elements, an array of integers with the 5 elements. And when I print it like this with the system out println, and inside of it I will give a variable name numbers. This one will print me the address of this object, so it will not be, print me the every element. When I want to print every element, I should use loops. In my case, I use the for loop. Here I declare it I with the value 0. and it will work as long as I will be smaller than the size of an array. As you know that every object has its methods and fields. In this situation, array use the field length. Every array has the field length, and this one number dot length gives me the size of an array. So here it is the 5. Then I incremented I by 1, and then I just printed every element by accessing it by indexes and add just empty space. So as a result, I take it from my computer the following. This first line, it is the reference. The reference can be changed. And in the second line, we see that every element. That this is how we print an array. And this is how we take an access to every element. So don't forget about this one numbers. Also, I ask you to pay attention to this one. This is how we take a size of an array. Numbers, this is an array name. After that, we just write the length or field. This is the field of the array object. So this is all for the single dimensional arrays. Thank you for your attention.